Welcome to another run in our Desktop Dungeons Vicious Rainbows plan. We're going for the third class of Hippie Dragons. Unlock the Half Dragon. I was a bit conflicted about what to give here. I wanted to give easy ones for this quest. Berserker is probably the easiest, or one of the easier classes on this dungeon. But it's pretty self-explanatory why that's good on this dungeon, and I want to do some more interesting things with Berserker later maybe. So instead we're going to go for Crusader. This is also going to let us interact pretty unpleasantly with the dungeon. We're going for attack boosters, we're going for Dwarven Gauntlets, standard preps, we're going for Smuggler Den and Binlor. These two come together. Binlor doesn't get there aren't a load of walls on the Dragon Isles dungeon, so Binlor really benefits from having a extra source of walls. Perseverance badge, which is standard. Normalish potions. Maybe Schadenfreude would be the correct call. I don't think it matters too much. And we're going for I don't know, all sorts of options. Let's go translocation seal and elite items because we've not done anything like that yet. Okay, here we go. Oh, that's a great that's a great Crusader. Okay, we've got Earth Mother, which is always great. And Binlor's stuck over here, and as you can see, Binlor's prep penalty is coming into effect already. In that, okay, Elven Boots are a great find for this. In that, it makes some walls unbreakable. Okay, we're going to start getting some popcorn together, just while we're navigating our way around to Binlor. Am I going to want Crystal Ball? Probably not. Okay, sub-dungeons to note. Obviously going into the Smuggler's Den early. That's to pick off the boosters. Okay, that's the Matron Flame sub-dungeon. And now it's just a matter of, again, we're going to pop some death protections as we go. Go to this sub-dungeon. Oh. Yes, I do want this glyph. And we get another free one there. So we're just going to convert this glyph. Take that. I'm going to see. Right, so the layout of Smuggler's Den is symmetrical here. So there's going to be a wall tile there. There'll be another wall tile here. Now we really want to get up to 35 party, get Ender's Wall. And this is kind of normal for how you use Smuggler's Den. It's great for level 1, just sort of stacking up your party without over exploring the real top side of the map, while also your attack is low enough to hit these enemies without killing them. So, welcome to the Binlor party farm experience. And as you might guess, this is so we can build up a load of magic resistance. And we're going to try to do as much of this as we can at level 1, rather than using up... okay, so we've not got a load of walls visible topside. Thing to note. And this sub-dungeon is not great for wall destruction, unfortunately. There's no accessible walls here. Okay, so apologies if this is a bit more slow paced than previous runs, but this is the nature of the party farming game and a very important general concept for several of the vicious dungeons, including Dragon Isles. And as you might imagine, if we destroy the walls in the sub-dungeon, we're not using up the walls on the top side of the map. Okay, Tarog, also nice to find. Now, there should be a secret sub-dungeon as well. So that's something we're going to keep an eye out for, just as we continue on a merry way. So you'll see we've got magic resistance of 8 at the moment. We would like to build this up. We would also like to get Stonefist, which does give us a lot of knockback, which is great for an orc. Knockback is calculated on your base damage, or it gets a bonus to base damage. It's a match made in heaven. Again, I'd really like to find the secret sub-dungeon, if at all possible. And start picking up some additional bonuses. So one thing to note with this kind of strategy is the maximum magic resistance is 65% for a normal class and 75% for monk. So if we're going to be able to do some shenanigans and get a free pair of elven boots, we only really need to get towards 50 to totally maximize it. And as always with resist strategies, I think I'm going to skip on the Stonefist. Maybe that's not correct. But yeah, as always with the resist strategy on Crusader, just again, very nice always having that extra dungeon especially after going for Binlor early, who's normally not the god you want to end the game with. Again, I've not been thrilled with how the exploring has gone. Feels like we're having to use a lot of tiles to try and find anything useful. Normally I'd keep one a fight, but we are orc, and it would be good to start getting some action done here, really. So we can go for Druid here, and Gloves of Midas, very good shop item. And yeah, it's been a bit unlucky to not find any sort of sub-dungeon with our exploration so far, and also to be cut off from this part of the map. What we could do... Okay, and that'll be the Binlor threat penalty hitting us again, where unfortunately that dragon is directly in front of a wall, so we're not able to deal with it. I think we're going to grab the oven boots already. In this way we can start regen fighting. As you can see, we're already at oh, it's given us all the goodies this run. As you can see, we're already at a very decent resist total, 41%. We can potentially switch into Taurog to get another 15, or Dracul to get another 15. So I think honestly we're almost ready to convert out. And ideally we'd grab Stonefist, but... oh, and here he is. Good Glamrick, right in time. So this is a doubly great dungeon for Binlor. A load of black space. A load of walls. And maybe we'll get one more wall. Then I think we'll content ourselves. It says that there are no more walls apparently. But yeah, I would like to find one more wall, and then that'll do. That was so wasteful. Okay, so we now want to look at converting out. And Binlor tends to do very decently in long dungeons, and can work fine as a sort of monotheist god. But in many ways, converting out lets you leverage even more things about it. So with Taurog, I'm going to add Dark Helm. Now I've got to sort of make some decisions here. I want the sword and I want the helmet, and I've already got quite a lot of big items and glyphs. Normally I'd be keeping Helmet, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to take good Glamrick for all he's worth. And we're going to try here to just Again, find some magic damage enemies to victimize. You can see we're currently at the 47%. And I really could be higher, but for various reasons I'm a bit strapped for inventory space right now. Now, are there any more druids, anything like that? Druids, dragon spawn are the magic damage enemies. Dragon spawn are reasonably strong. Druids, as we've seen before, not so much. To break some death protections just while I've got nothing better to do with my health. Now, I've got another slightly awkward thing here, where I don't want to cast a load of spells while I'm under Taurog. Again, this whole Taurog detour may or may not have been especially smart play. Let's see, I've not calculated this, so it may or may not work. It worked. And again, we've got a little bit of black space saved up in the sub-dungeons, so it's not the biggest deal in the world. Now, we want to really get up to 50 and then leave Taurog, I think. What are we doing here? So this hasn't been the dream scenario for this run. There've not been a load of magic damage enemies spawning. So Druid, 3 levels higher, is going to melt. And yeah, so as you can see, the Binlor route is a bit of a slower one. It's not always the most exciting thing in the world to play, but it is incredibly effective on Dragonars. We'll start seeing that in a moment when we come to deal with the Firstborn. So we're on our 51 health, and now I think we can look to switch into Dracul even. Now, blood hunger would reduce our resistance, so we're not going for that. And if I was really smart, I would have started killing some zombies first before going into Dracul. But, you know, some days you're really smart and other days you're not. Burn Day Raz I'd rather keep for the downside if possible, but my inventory is just too cramped and it does not make much sense to be insisting on that. I would ideally find something else to get rid of, but you see our magic resist is at 62%, and that should allow us to start regen fighting the Firstborn while we pick off a few of our final targets. Just going to do some miscellaneous knockback shenanigans. It's not very relevant, but what can you do? Okay, and you can see 62% magic resistance. We're already nullifying a lot of Firstborn's damage. Again, I'm not entirely sure why I decided to do that. We'll do what we should have done in the first place. which is start knocking things into the firstborn. Now, in general, if you're regen fighting, you do want to... I don't think I've played this particularly well, hence the position not being an absolute dream here. So I really need to think, do I need to start unloading potions on firstborn, or can we greed it out a little bit and just go for the more sort of regen based approach? Either way, we do want to start using up the popcorn on the level. See, with Crusader you get this sort of stacking damage. So this can let you grab some popcorn, like these blobs, that for a normal character would be out of reach. So very good in the sort of mopping up part of the run. You've got to be careful not to burst this on druids. Again, we're just going to leave the undead alone for the moment, until we reach a point where we really need to deal with them. Yeah, the other thing that I would be considering normally for regen fighting is going for Blood Curse, which increases our level, and increasing your level increases obviously your regen as well. So once again we see our theme of firstborn being a much more tricky boss than Matron of Flames, but luckily we can start picking up Blood Tithe and use Dracul to get us past firstborn. What lurks beneath indeed. Okay, here we go. So we're going to see some of the Binlor perks in action, and also some of the Crusader perks. As you'll notice, our friends, these guards, they all have this trait Curse Bearer, which means that they take away your resists. But not if you're a Crusader, because you're immune to Curse, Mana Burn and Poison, which are the guard's main effects. And this guard, for instance, will go from being a very tough opponent to something of a walkover. Always, yeah, let's go for that. Again, I don't know if I'm playing optimally here. Okay, we can leave an extra blood pile there. Okay, this physical resist guard. Oh, sorry, magic resist. So I'm going to use Piss Off to deal with that one. Now, ideally we'd regen a little bit. So as you'll see, Crusader, you can just walk forward through it, and you've got all the magic resist from Binlor, and the various other gods in this case. And again, we've skipped yet another guard, so that's 3 guards we've managed to skip so far. We can even go in and kill them for experience, should it become necessary. So again, Matron of Flames, see that 75 damage against 62% magic resistance. That's reduced to what, 29? Yeah, so a 29 damage boss. For obvious reasons, it's quite easy to regen fight. Okay, we're going to pick up some more kills here. Okay, we can exploit momentum really to get some extra kills that you would otherwise not be able to grab. So this is another reason Crusader is generally very good in vicious dungeons. I think one of the more underrated classes. Okay, so we didn't need to dip into Earth Mother. We've got a bunch of black space left on the table. We've got a fair chunk of experience still left around. And again, you can just see that that run has, you know, it's maybe a bit less automatic than the previous ones we've shown. But it has certainly shown as well, you know, you can do this with a lot of resources left over. Obviously super nice to have Dracul, which allowed us to pick up the Feeling Parched badge, so using no potions. And we've picked up Miser as well, just while we're at it. I think we already had that one. And yeah, we've got Skull Picker on the ground here, so that maybe wasn't the smartest decision of all time. And yeah, that's the basis of the sort of Binlor Dragon Isle strategy, and for Crusader it's super good because you can just literally not care about all of the horrible status effects that these guards are supposed to inflict on you. And again, just fight them like normal enemies with massively reduced attacks. So that's one strategy to be aware of. And Crusader, again, it's another nice potential third class if you don't want to do it with the Berserker or either of the others that I've shown already. So anyway, sorry, that was a bit more rambling than normal. Also, we just left a glyph on the ground here without converting it, which, I don't know. It's not been the highest quality run, shall we say that. So, lots of resources left over anyway. Should be an easy run if you just need to round out that quest. And yeah, we're going to exit. So grab our Feeling Parched badge, which I really like that this is harder in Rewind. In the base game you just needed to not use health or mana potions, and that was usually pretty trivial. But in Rewind you can't use any potions, which means you have to play a bit better. Okay, going to get our Dragon Shield in with the goats, and next time we'll maybe look at one of the other vicious dungeons. Thank you for watching.